Hello my fellow fashion lovers, I hope you're doing well. I'm so happy to have you back. Get comfortable because what lies ahead today is a pretty wild trip through time. Destination New York for the Louis Vuitton Cruise 2027 show. Nicolas Ghesquière is packing his bags for the Big Apple for the second time, 10 years after his legendary show at the TWA Flight Center. But this time, forget about space-age futurism. Today's goal is a total thermal shock, injecting the raw, underground, slightly teenage energy of his very first encounter with Manhattan back in 1989, right into the heart of ultra-high society New York, a direct bridge between the roughness of the streets and the opulence of the 19th century. The setting sets this tension immediately. We're at the Frick Collection, a freshly renovated jewel of classical architecture. The lights are muted, almost museum-like. The historic hardwood floors creak under the model's steps. It feels like a master painter's canvas vandalized by a rock and roll energy. To understand the approach, we have to look through a specific lens, or rather, look at a ghost, Keith Haring. Ghesquière uses the legacy of the street art icon to blow up the traditional codes of luxury. Personally, I find that this is where the show truly starts to get fascinating. The stroke of genius happens right from the opening look, featuring an authentic, faded 1930 Louis Vuitton trunk that Haring himself tagged with a marker in the 80s. Pairing this piece of history with denim overalls and a simple V-neck cardigan is the show's ultimate manifesto, taking the everyday and making it absolutely precious. The allure is hybrid and ultra-dynamic. The models stride forward with a rushed, typically New York pace, their heads tucked beneath crumpled fedora hats. At this point, you feel like Ghesquière isn't just trying to make clothes anymore. He's almost capturing a memory of Manhattan. The silhouette becomes a complete hybrid. Setting the tone is this improbable mix of a leather racing jacket and satin boxer shorts. The same goes for the quilted sneakers, which completely shatter the rigidity of ultra-sharp skirt suits. If we look closer at the construction of the garments, the transition is gorgeous. We start with very simple urban cuts that gradually transform into Gilded Age silhouettes. Beneath the surface lies a real trade secret, hidden structures supporting miniskirts with stiff, almost origami-like pleats. Further down the line, monumental ruffles wrap around the neck, layered over lace bodices of millimeter-precise fineness. The most interesting contrast comes next, with these rich, almost aristocratic floral jacquards that completely disrupt the street energy from the opening. Visually, it looks as though the clothing has already lived multiple lives. Denim and black leather cross paths with ultramodern materials like spandex. But the ultimate nod to the venue comes from those silk tops and capes that replicate the exact patterns of the museum's wallpaper. It's history you can actually wear. To break the usual coldness of the runway, Ghesquière plays around with pop and deeply personal nods to New York culture. Handbags become completely subverted collector's items. You spot reinventions of the famous cardboard Chinese takeout boxes or silhouettes of yellow cabs, rendered in precious leather. It's these playful little details that take the seriousness out of luxury, and it feels incredibly refreshing. The show is paced like an acceleration through the streets of Manhattan. We start with utilitarian wardrobe pieces and slide toward an increasingly theatrical opulence. The mid-show surprise, the appearance of actress Alana Hayam in an elegantly embroidered summer dress, completely revives the rhythm. The climax of the finale is marked by a dress fusing historical ruffles with contemporary technical cuts. It's probably the silhouette that best sums up this entire collision between past and present. So of course we have to ask the question, is this grand mix actually wearable in everyday life? Pairing 19th century necklines with cycling spandex and takeaway bags is a highly polarizing stylistic gamble. Some will see a visual overload that's hard to pull off on the street. But to me, it's a genuine success because the clothes feel much more wearable and free than the extreme silhouettes of recent winter shows. What we take away in the end is an impressive sense of maturity. Ghesquière delivers a strong collection anchored in reality. He proves to us that for Louis Vuitton, travel is no longer a matter of geographical destination, but the absolute freedom to navigate through different eras and cultures simultaneously. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this collision. Would you dare to wear these microbags inspired by New York takeout boxes? Or do you think the nod goes a bit too far for luxury leather goods? Thank you for sharing this moment with me. To sharpen your own eye on collections that pull from the past, don't hesitate to dive back into the history of 80s New York street art. That's often where the keys to today's fashion are hidden. I'll see you very soon for our next breakdown.